to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
It's a beautiful Wednesday morning here in Lagos, and I hope it is beautiful where you are. Oh well, I am Chukwuma Okoro, and this is VOP This Morning on Voice of the People Television. And in the next 2 hours, we are going to take you through very interesting and trending stories within the polity. And one of them is that the Minister of Internal Affairs, Mr. Tunji Ojo, has warned that weak borders, low funding is derailing security gains in Nigeria. Plus, PDP faces setback as efforts to sideline Wike loyalists fail. NEC meeting in doubt. Anyway, these are the two stories, and plus another one. But I'm not alone in the studio here.
Oh yes, of
I have
course.
wonderful people with me here.
As always, the team is complete right here. I am Moses Humphrey. Court rejects arrest request for suspended Senator Akpoti Uduaghan. Now, these are the conversations that we will focus on this morning. But there are, of course, other conversations Nigerians are dwelling on, and we'll be touching on those as well.
And I'm Fina Okechukwu. The table actually is full, like Moses rightly pointed out. Also, today we have other trending topics I will also touch on. And one of them is President Bola Tinubu has commended FCT Minister Nyesom Wike for his commitment to strengthen Nigeria's democracy through the construction of INEC's new headquarters in Abuja. Speaking at the groundbreaking ceremony, Tinubu hailed Wike's vision and the dedication of the FCDA and INEC leadership. He urged contractors to prioritize quality and integrity, emphasizing that the project symbolizes national trust. Tinubu reminded Nigerians that democracy is a continuous journey and called for collective effort to protect and strengthen democratic institutions. This particular one, sparked quite a reaction on social media over some persons that, have the opinion that why is it that when the president, stood up to go, perform the normal, what we call ritual now, instead of the national anthem, the old new national anthem now to be recited and all that, the only thing we heard from some of the persons that were there were, a particular chant on your mandate, whose mandate are we going to stand on and all that. Now, away from that, Nigerians are still reacting over the fact that 30-something billion naira was what was used just to refurbish. Yes, ICC, now Ahmed Bola Tinubu International Conference Center, still in FCT. And then the president said, forget about this naysayers, don't even listen to them, don't let them distract you, do what you have to do. And at this point in time, we're getting an information that a new INEC headquarters again is going to be constructed in Abuja. And Nigerians are asking, what's the proper bidding for this particular, this construction of the of INEC headquarters? Did you follow the due process? Are we going to get another story of a particular humongous amount of money being spent on it? Who actually were the ones that bidded for it? A whole lot of things, actually, a whole lot of persons are reacting to this one. But for me, I think it's a good one if we believe that the INEC office that we have is no longer conducive or is no longer well-equipped for Nigeria or for INEC actually to do their job judiciously. If this particular one is going to help them out in making sure that the issue of rigging in elections, the issue of beavers and other electronic devices not working well during elections are being mitigated. It's a good one for me anyway. That's all I can say.
Oh, well, it's not a good one for me, as it's the executive usurping authority, delving into waters that ordinarily it shouldn't delve into. And we are celebrating this. I feel sorry. I feel sorry for Nigeria's democracy. I feel sorry that we don't seem to know where we're going to. A lot is playing out, and Nigerians seem to be taking all of it with levity. Is it the role of the executive to build INEC office? Did INEC say they want a new headquarters in Abuja? If memory serves me right, INEC was allocated 40 billion naira in the budget, which they rejected, and they asked for 126 billion naira for the 2025 budget, which of course, when the National Assembly looked at it, National Assembly upped it to 140 billion, even beyond what they asked for. And reconstructing INEC offices around the nation, conducting elections, fixing damaged beavers and the rest, everything. In fact, conducting off-cycle elections, everything was captured in that budget. 140 billion naira budget. All of it was captured in that budget. So if INEC if they had intentions to build a new structure or renovate one, it should have been in the budget. Why is the executive delving into the affairs of INEC? Of course, you know why. Elections are around the corner. And this cannot be separated from, a desire to influence outcome of upcoming elections. The executive is delving into the affairs of the judiciary. The executive is building houses and buying cars, building courthouses for judges, the judiciary. The executive is building offices for INEC. What is going on? It's not part of your responsibility. The president ordinarily should have gone to Benue immediately. People have been dying in Benue. People have been dying in Niger State and the rest. But the president decided to stay back, commission a project before going to visit. Well, today he will be in Benue today. And I hear there was a letter I saw that people, SSA to the governor of something related to gathering people, is asking people to come out, and they are clearing bush path. They're clearing, and I'm like, are we normal? Are we okay? What's going on? Have we lost our minds in this country? It's obvious the president, I'm going to say it here. It's very obvious that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not care about Nigerians. He does not care about the ordinary man. Somebody said in an interview that the president just wanted to grab power, but he has absolutely no idea what to do with it. I think, yes, he wanted to grab power. He has grabbed it. And the only thing he wants to do with it is to retain the power. Then what happens after 2027? Get somebody else, get a crony or something to stay in power. So it's all about power. And it's unfortunate that this is the country that we have. This is the country where we have educated elites, but no one is saying anything.
If building a new project, if building a new house or a new headquarters for INEC will make them to give Nigerians free and fair election.
They can't give Nigerians free and fair election
because you think they're already complicit.
The executive that is building the new office for INEC.
That's why we'll have issues with them personally.
I think, Moses, you are venting. I have never seen
venting.
You are venting. I've never seen you in this mood before. Honestly, but I'll ask you to calm down. You just need to calm down. Be calming down. You just need to calm down. Well, to answer your question directly, we are not normal. We are not okay as a people. Because if we were to be okay, if we were normal, as a normal people living in our own country, things that happen here wouldn't have to happen. And we'll just sit back and watch all of these things happen in our presence. So to answer your question directly, we are not normal. In all of these, whether it is the executive, I think the process of building, because INEC happens to be a federal agency, so it is the federal government that should, as a matter of fact, build an INEC office, a new headquarters, if the one that they have, is no longer befitting, of such an institution. So it is the federal government. But the question you asked is, did it pass through appropriation? That is what I don't understand. So why should the FCT minister be the one building a new INEC head office? But in all of this, my worry or my concern is that, look, the president says, because he and Wike, they are building a new INEC office that they are trying to strengthen democracy. So now what they want to do is to reduce democracy to structures like edifice and all of that. So because you have a new INEC office, everything is going to run smoothly. What about the people running the democracy itself? As far as I'm concerned, that doesn't translate to having free and fair, credible elections. And I keep saying that you know, our leaders, they have a false sense of entitlement. Now, because you build a new structure, you know, that is maybe befitting of the institution, you now feel that, look, democracy is at work. No, that is not it. Democracy has to do with conducting free, fair, transparent, and credible elections. Anything away from that, I mean, it's mere papering over the issues that define us as a people. And when you were talking about the president going to Benue State, I think that's another trending story as we get into it, because the Benue State government has declared Wednesday, June 18, that is today, a work-free day in honor of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's visit to the state. Well, according to a statement issued by the secretary to the state government, Mrs. Deborah Arba, the president is visiting to sympathize with the government and people of Benue over the ongoing security crisis affecting various communities. Well, essential service providers, including health workers, security agencies, and banks are exempted from the holiday. Residents have been urged to turn out en masse to welcome the president and his entourage. This is disheartening. And this morning when I walked in, I think the producer is from Benue State, and we have two other people here from Benue State. And I did ask them, what kind of governor do you have? Your governor didn't find it necessary to declare a day of mourning, you know, to mourn the people who have been killed in cold blood, people who have been slaughtered in the state. But the governor found it convenient to declare a public holiday to welcome the president, that didn't even find it necessary to give a national address concerning what happened in Benue State. And the president just mentioned on the sidelines of commissioning a project in Abuja that, oh, well, I'm going to find time, I'm going to clear my desk, reschedule, and find time to visit. In fact, I'm going to drop my visit to Kaduna State, where I was going to commission another project, and now come to Benue and commiserate with the people. Meanwhile, the same president had called on the governor to take decisive political action. He said it's a conflict, and I don't know the kind of conflict. It will be, now, who are the parties to this conflict? Is it the Benue people versus who? Is it community clashes? Is it a land problem between two communities in Benue State? Clearly, this is not what it is. So the president is also being insincere when he says that, look, this thing is president is not a conflict. It's ethnic cleansing. It is genocidal. And the earlier we begin to see it as one, the better for us, so that we're able to take this problem from the roots and take it out. If we keep papering over it, but a lot of Nigerians have the impression that, look, it goes back to what the former president said. Look, if you don't want to be killed, give your land. Now the president said political elites in Benue State look for a way to resolve all of these things. That is not what it is. It speaks to the insincerity of leadership in addressing this issue. Well, Benue people, if you are trooping out en masse to welcome the president who is coming to commiserate with you as you mourn, well, it's up to you to do what you like. If you want to, I'm sure some people are even going to donate cows and all of that to the president to welcome him to Benue State, a state that is supposed to be in mourning, a state that should be under a state of emergency, but we see leaders kowtow before the president to welcome him. It's quite unfortunate.
Very unfortunate indeed. You know, Chukuma, you asked a question, what is really happening? Is it that the president is insensitive about the lives that were being lost in their numbers here in Nigeria? If you go back to what happened earlier this week in Katsina State, where we have a peace accord, there were a peace accord brokered between a non-terrorist, a known person, a known bandits, you know, with the people of the state, where you have security personnel skittered in their gears now, still present. They couldn't arrest this particular man. They couldn't take him in. They couldn't rein him. But he was there still being verbose, telling Nigerians that the only problem they have is that they call them terrorists. They are not terrorists. They are what? They are bandits. They prepare.
I think that answers Moses' question again. When he asked, are we normal? We are not normal. If we are normal, such things won't happen.
That will make you to understand that when the president when he even spoke on Monday, addressing what happened or what was happening, what is happening in Benue State now, he said they should go home and reconcile. Yes, Nigeria is a conflict.
Who are the parties to the conflict?
Nigeria is a station where people should come together and live as one in one family. And the question I ask then is this. Am I going to accept a stranger in my own father's house? This, because we were told by Governor Alia that the persons who are actually perpetuating this evil are not, Benue persons, that they are foreigners. Now, someone told Nigerians that foreigners are actually infiltrating the Nigeria from our porous borders, and that actually made it difficult. But the part I have issues in all these things happening is the fact that we have a priest, a reverend father of the Catholic Church, happens to be the governor of the state, and he understood the importance of life. A single human being, actually, according to the Catholic faith, actually, is worth more than any other thing. And then he could not actually come up to say, I am declaring a public holiday to mourn the persons that have lost their life in Benue State, or we're going to organize this or that or the other one actually to speak about how we feel about the loss of lives that we're having in the state. But he went further to declare a public holiday because of the fact that a president is coming to visit the state. And it's painful.
Very, very. I'm trying not to vent, because I seem to be, well, some of us seem to be carrying this on our head, while those who are suffering, the governor is...
And
his people don't even consider this to be anything. A young man once said that sense is not gotten from, an attire, a suit, a jacket, an apron, a garment, or whatever. The fact that one is a religious leader does not mean they have sense. That's quoting a young man in my neighborhood.
No, like when they say that the hood doesn't make the monk.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh, well, we should have a state of emergency.
Sorry, Moses, before you get into what you want to say, there's a video out there that shows the people of Benue State
clearing the grass.
Clearing the grass to welcome Mr. President.
And it up in the night.
To Benue State. And this is
in the night.
It's in the night that they are doing this.
Hastily done.
Just to create the impression that all is well in Benue State.
Why create the impression that all is well?
And I kept asking this
when
question back in the days. If the president is coming, you see a governor, they are going to buy paint, to paint the streets. This black and white, the caves, to paint the caves. And the president comes, he sees everywhere clean. He walks away with that impression. And he goes back to Abuja. He hears that people are complaining that the road is not paved and all of that. And he said, but I was there last week and this is what I saw.
Street lights are working. I told you about how when the president was in Lagos, some streets in Ikoyi, street lights were on.
And the moment he left,
street lights were switched off.
So if the man, if somebody in Lagos now complains that, look, we are in the dark here, the president says clearly, no, it's not true. I was there 2 weeks ago and this is what I saw.
The Pharisees are living in Nigeria. They wash the back of the cup and the inside is dirty. So that speaks
it's a terrible situation.
It is a terrible
So we are our own problems.
Yes,
we are our own problems.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, we keep blaming others for our problems.
We like to pass buck. Yes, so we pass the buck. There's a letter I would like to further offend you with. Let's put up that letter. It's from the SSA. Yes, Benue State Government Office of the Executive Governor on Special Groups Mobilization. Invitation to welcome the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria. And then he goes on to say, I'm pleased to notify you at the instance of our dear Governor, His Excellency, the leader of the All Progressive Congress in Benue State, to mobilize massively to give a rousing welcome to our president. At the instance of the governor, so the governor is very aware of what is going on. Now, what is this about? Support groups constituency is required to form a colorful shoulder-to-shoulder spread procession from airport to Burubum roundabout and down to Government House, Makudi, where the president will address a town hall meeting. Accreditation will be accreditation. Accreditation for those that will attend will be done strictly by the numbers and colors.
So you have to look flashy.
Yes,
a state that should be morning.
Okay,
it goes on. It says leaders of groups will contact the office of SSA to the governor on special groups mobilization for more information. That means monies will be given out. That's what more information means.
That's what mobilization means.
Yes, monies will be given out. Okay, kindly accept the governor's gratitude for your commitment and be assured of my highest regards and esteem. Signed, for Honorable Francis, what's his name? Ngotswen. Senior Special Assistant on Special Groups Mobilization. I don't, God, I'm on air. I'm on television. So I'm trying to be, trying to use my words, use my words carefully. But this reeks of,
you don't even know what to call
foolery.
it.
Foolery. This is annoying. A state that should have declared a state of emergency. I don't know if the governor saw the pictures. I mean, I wasn't there, but pictures that came out, pictures of children burnt, charred bodies of children. People died. The number has risen to over 200 confirmed dead. People that were struggling to survive, those in IDPs, were killed where they were. From the video I saw, about 30 people in an apartment were burnt, probably sleeping at the time. And then if you've ever seen someone burn, if you've ever been burnt before, maybe your finger or something, you know what it feels like to have fire touch you. Now, imagine someone being burnt alive. What torture they take to the grave. No state of emergency, no, I beg your pardon, state of emergency has not been declared. No national mourning in Nigeria. No mourning in the state. No day of mourning in the state. We are not flying flags at half-mast. We are clearing grasses for the president's arrival. We are gathering people to come look colorful for the president's arrival. Nigeria.
This is getting quite emotional.
Yeah, done for.
We might need to leave Benue now.
I think yes. Let's go to
Let's come back. To
yes, Pastor Paul Adefarasin, founder of House of the Rock Church, is being questioned by the Lagos State Police Command after a viral video showed him pointing a gun-like object at a content creator. Now, the incident, which sparked public outrage, occurred while Adefarasin was driving a Range Rover with tinted windows. He later turned himself in at the police headquarters in Ikeja. The police confirmed that an investigation is ongoing and the outcome will be made public. Adefarasin has denied possessing a firearm. Now, I saw that. I zoomed into it. That, to me, doesn't look like a gun. If you've seen a gun before, that doesn't look like a gun. You know, if you look at the nozzle, it doesn't look like a gun. It looks to me like some sort of taser.
Yeah.
Now, but the fact of the matter is, this vehicle is tinted. Even if the content creator knew him and was approaching him, he could have driven off. There was no need winding down to see, look, it's like saying, look at me and look at what I'm holding, so don't come close. So basically, threatening the man to stay away from him. That's on one side. It's he would have to answer to that. But I don't think there's any law against holding tasers, because we know how insecurity has escalated, and people tend to look for ways to defend themselves. That looks to me like a taser. But of course, we'll wait for the police investigation to be concluded. On the other hand, content creators should be a little careful with the kind of content they try to do. You want to approach someone without, first of all, reaching out to them, letting them know your intention. You can get killed in the process. The sort of content we create, it's all about everybody wants to get on social media. Let's be careful. We can even kill someone. I saw a content some time back where somebody scared somebody. Well, it wasn't here in Nigeria, it was done abroad. Someone walked into an apartment and somebody frightened her, and out of fear, she ran out of the apartment, ran into the road, and the car ran her over. And then her sister, who was in the background videoing, started crying. Now, a life has been lost because she wanted to create content. She wanted to scare someone. So let's be wary of the kind of content we put out, so we don't get killed or kill someone in the process.
It's a good thing that the Nigerian police have invited the senior pastor of House on the Rock, and they said, according to them, that investigation and the outcome of it will be made public, to decide what he was really holding, whether it was a gun or whether it was a taser. But as the case may be, yesterday or thereabout, it was Shego Shobito that was talking about how far Nigerians can go for them actually to get their social media presence, and also for them to be there and noticed, in terms of, it was Barrister Asima Adams. They were talking about the skit making and all that, He pointed to that a lot. Now, if, for example, Pastor Adefarasin wasn't comfortable with the person coming around him or what the person is coming around to do, sometimes also Nigerians can be a bit stubborn when they try to tell them, keep off, don't come close and all that. That's when they want to come close, that's when they want to be there. So if using a teaser to scare someone out actually is what he could do at that particular time to make sure that his car actually is protected, then so be it. We've also heard about how some persons who cannot disguise to be, content creators or beggars just for them to go out there to rip people off, especially during or there in the traffic. It happens sometimes in Lagos too. So, but anyway, I would like to wait for the Nigerian police to come up with their findings in this particular case so that Nigerians don't know what really transpired.
Okay, exactly the point. I think it's good to know that the police is investigating the matter. So let's see what they come out with. And now let's get into the papers quickly. And I'll start with the Daily Trust newspaper with the big story. Fresh trouble for PDP as INEC rejects NEC notice. And the paper is, that's the only story on Daily Trust. Newspapers are clearing, they are going home with a lot of money. Front page advert all these days.
Moses' friends are the ones actually covering up the whole
Okay, so that's it from the Daily Trust.
The first news newspaper is up next, and beside the masthead, Benue killings, we are tired of condolences. Senate demands security action. Mixed signals, Benue governor opposes self-defense. Defense chief supports it. Don't bribe officers, pay fines via banks. FRSC wants motorists. Diria approves 740 million naira interest-free loan for 2 young entrepreneurs. Tinubu's visit, Benue declares Wednesday public holiday. The banner headline, we can't keep burying farmers. Ehamufu bleeds again as death toll hits 168. I'll take that again. We can't keep burying farmers. Ehamufu bleeds again as death toll hits 168. Ehamufu is a community in Enugu State. All right, Trump to Iran's supreme leader, we see you, but we won't kill you yet. Police interrogates Adefarasin over alleged firearm incident. The bottom strip headline, Obi to Tinubu visit flood hits Niger, not just Benue. Those are the stories on the cover page of the first newspaper.
All right, I had to flip through a lot of cover pages to figure out one that has stories on it because most of them have advertorial. Tom Polo and the rest. Oh well, from the Daily Times, we have a few headlines here. The window headlines, Nigeria losing oil ferbs to insecurity. Pengasin. Pdp'S 100th NEC threatened as INEC recognizes IAM. Okay, and then the bold headline, the banner headline, insecurity. 544 killed in Benue in 2025. Human beings. 544 human beings. Okay, as CSOs raises alarm over government inaction. Okay, well, we know the action the governor is taking. And reps probe 212 trillion naira, 215 billion naira ABP NISL funds. CDS proposes Borno-styled military security for Benue locals. I wonder what that is. NHRC worries over killings in Benue. Plateau says food insecurity looms. Adamawa APC denies Ribadu's endorsement, insists it only passed confidence vote. And the bottom strip there, well, not exactly, well, bottom strip. Benue killings, barbaric, unacceptable, Kalu. Well, these are the headlines on the cover page of the Daily Times. I think that's how far we can go.
Yes, that's how far we can go on newspaper headlines. But Moses and I will come back at 10 o'clock for an extended review of newspaper headlines. We'll go for a short break now, and when we return, we get into the first major topic of discussion. Weak borders, low funding, derailing security gains, Tunji Ojo walls. Join us again.
extraordinary. Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOPTV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOPTV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOPTV. Now you have more than a voice.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOPTV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOPTV, Voice of the People Television.
We are the station that brings you stories from the people's perspective.
We'll let your voice be heard. On Political Lens, we'll bring you deeper insights into happenings within the polity.
We create equality of representative opinion and fairness in politics, economic and diverse conversations.
Here we bring you breaking news, fresh perspectives, as well as fact-based analysis.
Watch our extraordinary shows From the People's Voice, where we get to amplify the stories and concerns of everyday Nigerians, to hashtag.
To Health Check, where we share practical wellness tips and bring you deep insights from medical professionals.
Maritime Frontiers will dissect issues on port operations and more. Every time we talk about sport, it's everything that has to do with sport from the top to the finish. Just be with us, stay with us all of the time. We give you sporting activities just as you unfold, and that's what we do, and that's why we are called.
All right, welcome back and thanks for staying with us. And if you are just joining us, this is VOP This Morning. This is Voice of the People Television. Nigeria's Interior Minister, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, has raised alarm over the country's worsening security crisis, blaming it on poor funding and porous borders. He warned that for every terrorist killed, more enter due to weak border control, citing the Nigerian Immigration Services inadequate budget. Well, Ojo criticized the over-reliance on the military for internal security and called for better funded models for the police. He condemned, now his concerns come as fresh attacks in Benue highlight ongoing threat from armed groups infiltrating through unsecured borders. Meanwhile, Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia has rejected calls for self-defense in response to ongoing attacks, warning that untrained civilians confronting armed groups could escalate the crisis. He said much more than that. But we have in the studio here with us Mr. Barrister Darlington Agommo. You know, he's a political affairs analyst and he's VOP in-house analyst. Barrister, I'm overwhelmed by what is going on in Benue State, and probably that is why I'm stuttering. So you might just have to excuse me for that. And we are joined virtually from our Benin outstation by Dr. Bright Onovo-Kukyu. He's a medical doctor as well as political affairs analyst. And one other guest will be joining us also from our Oka outstation. Gentlemen, thanks for being part of the VOP Morning Show.
It's my pleasure.
Barrister,
Yes.
the Internal Affairs Minister has raised alarm. He said, look, part of what is causing the insecurity and the problem is that we have porous borders. Apparently, you know, agreeing with people who have said that, look, these attackers are not Nigerians, that they are coming from outside. And we have, in all of this, we still have the Controller General of Police, of Immigration in office. We have the minister. Someone proposed the other time that we should build a border fence between Nigeria and its neighbors. Barrister, what's your reaction from on the minister's comment that, look, it is weak borders and porous borders and weak funding that is causing the insecurity in Nigeria. Haven't we funded the Ministry of Defense enough? Is there anything that we have not done in terms of giving money, buying arms and all of that? What's your broad reaction to what the minister said?
The Minister of Internal Affairs, Ojo, is not talking to me. His suggestions and advice is like somebody who is trying to blame somebody for the ineptitude of his government, because he's working with a government that has refused to protect Nigeria. So they will find a way to shift the blame somewhere. Mr. Okoro, if the government is very sincere and start dealing with these terrorists as they enter Nigeria, I am telling you, nobody will step into Nigeria to mess up. Nobody. But when they see that the people that enter that are taking territories, is that not an invitation for more to enter?
Barrister, when you say that this government is not interested in protecting citizens, the Chief of Army Staff is in Benue, the Chief of Defense Staff is around there, the Inspectorate of Police visited and all of that. So what else do you expect them to have done before now?
When they came, what did they do? You are talking as if you are not in this country. The first IGP of police that Buhari appointed when he came in 2015, Idris. That was what happened again in the same Benue. And the Buhari told him, go to Benue and take care of things there. The man just, landed and then went to one hotel to go and relax his nerves and all that with police women. It was when Buhari now visited Benue himself that...
Barrister, that's a heavy allegation.
Do
you have anything to back that up?
Yes, there is, yeah. When he was caught with police... Hold on, when he was accused of disturbing police women, he said that it is his right to marry police women. That was what Idris told everybody.
Okay.
So it's not an allegation. He said he even married the woman. It's on record. He married the police woman. So what I'm saying in essence is that it didn't start today.
Okay, but you said something that struck me. You said during Buhari, it was Benue.
Yes.
Now we are still discussing Benue.
Yes.
Barrister, what is it with
exactly.
Benue? Why is it Benue? Why is it Benue Plateau always?
I was thinking Ojo would have made reference to ask question, why are they attacking Benue? Nobody has asked that question up till now. Nobody.
Do you know why? Do you know why they are attacking
I know
Benue?
why.
Okay, what is it, sir?
They want to take that territory. They were told by their forefathers that Benue is their own, without any backup, no evidence, nothing. All because in 1804, when they wanted to take over the north, it was Benue people that stopped them, the TV warriors that stopped them. And so that anger, that hatred is still in their mind. That's why they want to revenge under a government that are giving them soft landing. Imagine if this government had been forthright in telling them, look, that your nonsense, I don't want to see, I don't want to hear it. Will they continue? But because they have been giving soft landing, like I said initially, anybody who is trying to shift this blame from government, that person is not sincere. It is government that allowed this, it is government that invited them.
Barrister, how possible is it that 8 years, Buhari was there for 8 years, he's no longer there. Now we have a new president who is not even in Northerner, who is from the south, and yet such, action or such killing is still happening in Benue State.
Yes.
So if Nigerians wake up to say the reason Buhari did not act is because those people actually were his allies or his cronies, then what is now stopping the present president from acting in favor of Nigerians, especially now that even the CDS told Nigerians that the people killing persons in Benue State are foreigners. Governor also pointed out to that direction.
Yes, foreigners that profess the same religion. Religious sentiment, that's all. Nothing. Religious sentiment. If you are doubting me, let one Christian group rise up in the south here and start doing what they are doing. You will see what will happen. If you are doubting me that the religion is not involved here, let any Christian group rise up to revenge. You will see how the federal government will come down on them. So it is religious sentiment because they profess the same religion. That is all. That's why they are giving this soft landing. Nothing else. If you remove religion, tribalism, ethnicity from our affairs in Nigeria, Nigeria will be a paradise.
All right, Barrister. Let's take it to Dr. Bright Onovekuko. Good morning, Dr. Bright Onovekuko.
Good morning, Fina.
Good to have you join today's conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's get your opinion on the fact that Minister Tunji Ojo have told Nigerians that the way we are tackling the issue of insecurity in Nigeria is rather laughable. You know, he said that we do not have proper planning or budgeting for security apparatus or personnel in Nigeria. He also blamed the issue of a border porous or the porous nature of a border also to be a contributing factor to the infiltration of these unscrupulous elements that have been causing mayhem in Nigeria. Help us walk around this. Also, juxtapose that to the fact that Matawale, when he went to defend the 2025 budget, also made mention of the fact that which was allocated to security personnel or security or manning of issue of insecurity in Nigeria is not enough, suggesting that we need at least 5 or 10 CPs in each state, especially in Katsina, for them to squash the people causing mayhem there.
First and foremost, if it is laughable, he should be laughing at himself and the government that he's working under. Certainly not at Nigeria, because I don't even know the set of people he was addressing when he was making that statement. Lack of proper planning. Who is to plan? Is it Nigerians that will plan for the minister, or the minister should come out with strategy to address issues? Why is he a minister, or why are we having this government in place? If there are gaps, it is not to come and present the gaps to Nigerians. It is to tell Nigerians that these were the perceived or observed gaps, and they have started to address those gaps, not coming to emphasize the problem to us. And like I've said before, issues of security are issues that should not be in the public domain for public discourse, because what Nigeria wants, results, and nothing else. So all these are lamentation and so many other things does not make sense. And talking about budgeting for security, the question is this: how transparent, how accountable have they even been with what they have? You know, the budget that have been made, or the fund that have been released to them, how accountable have they been? Let alone now talking about it is not enough. Because I don't have evidence, I cannot accuse them of maybe embezzling the fund. But what we are saying is that let there be accountability and transparency in the utilization of those funds. And for him to make the statement that for every one terrorist that was killed, about 20 would come in, is a failure of this administration. In fact, he's the one scoring them. It's not Nigeria that is even scoring this administration, because this administration, before President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into power, this issue of security were things that he was using to campaign. And in fact, those who are the helm of affair in APC, they were using this thing to campaign, and they talked about insecurity. If it lasts more than how many hours, I can't recall the exact amount that maybe the government have a hand in it or something like that. And this is what is bedeviling the country. And a minister is coming up to say something. So he's scoring the administration. So let them act based on the gaps that they have perceived, not for Nigerians to come and address those gaps.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Bright. Now let's go to Port Harcourt. We have Dr. Chukunonso Ekesiobi Oka. Okay, he's in Oka. Dr. Chukunonso Ekesiobi, good morning to you. Good to have you join the conversation. We'd like for you to unmute your microphone so we can hear you. Now let's x-ray. Great. Let's x-ray your thoughts on the statement by the minister. Let's put that side by side with recent information. In Benue State, right after the killings on Friday, on Saturday, I believe, there was a report that 33 people were brought into a part of the state in 2 buses, sponsored by an NGO that was registered in May. An NGO that was registered last month brought in 33 people. And these people, when interrogated, could not even, speak English. They couldn't even tell what they came there to do, what they were brought in there to do. Not too long ago, or in times past, we've had cases where a truckload carrying people and motorcycles were brought into Lagos, impounded, seized by the government, and these people returned to their state. We've had issues like this. What does this say to our ability to identify Nigerians, identify ourselves? What does this say to our ability to protect our borders? What does this say to our ability as a nation, to protect ourselves?
Well, it's very unfortunate, at the same time laughable, that we are still talking in a digital age like we are today. We are still talking about how we can properly identify ourselves. Which identification mechanism have we not introduced in this country? We have introduced the national ID identification from the NIMC. You have introduced BVN. You have introduced, what's the other one? For bank, okay, I've mentioned BVN. You have a driver's license, international passport, just name it. You have every sort of identification. But behind that, it shows that there's no sort of coordination as to how we process this information we gather. So it's quite laughable when the minister comes out. I share the same thoughts with the speaker in Benin, that it's quite laughable that he's making this statement in the open, because who is he addressing? Does he want Nigerians to go and provide more funding for him, or what are they doing in the Federal Executive Council meetings and all those consultative meetings they have? And how many times has he made these presentations to them? Saying that our borders are porous is, for me, is a bit too kind. Is when I think the proper thing is we don't have borders. We just have access points where people just come in and go out from. But beyond the access points, anything goes. That is why you have a situation like you just raised, where people will just be moved in large numbers in vehicles, and nobody can give any sort of a reasonable information as to their sort of place of origin or their destination or what they have come there to do. And everybody just keeps doing anything they like.
Doctor.
Yes.
Doctor, when you say that that Dr. Olubemitunji Ojo should address the other person, he made a point actually when he was talking about the gap between Nigeria immigration and border security architecture. He went further as a Minister of Interior now to make Nigerians understand that just 10 billion naira was what was earmarked for Nigeria immigration services to help protect our 4,024 square kilometers of border space that we have in Nigeria. I used to say that it does not have the right to talk about the porous nature and the poor funding, of the persons who are there manning these borders, how porous it is for us to have a proper, security personnel who's manning the borders to make sure that the issue of infiltration actually ends at this point in time.
You see, when we talk of Nigeria Immigration Service, I just want to be very factual. When we talk of Nigeria Immigration Service, the only thing that comes to the mind of an average Nigerian is, these guys that issue international passports, and that is it. And that is why you see most of them jostling for positions in these offices where the passports are processed, or staying at the entry points, like I mentioned, to collect one tip-off or the other. Beyond that, nobody knows that they even exist to man the territorial space called Nigeria. And you see, if you go to these borders, you see how many of them there. You see immigration, you see police, you see customs, and you see, I think at some point you meet these NDLEA guys. So when all these people are there, what are they doing? Are they running a separate agenda from the national interest, or are they there to actually do what they were told to do? See, the minister has to come to the realization that yes, there are existing challenges in that space. That was why he was given that appointment. He wasn't given that appointment to go and sit in the office in suit and tie and speak pretty English. No, there is a problem, and that is why you were there. So for the past 2 years, what comprehensive immigration policy or strategy or approach has he come up with? That we can say, okay, that he has something on ground already. He just needs the funding. Or do we just lament about funding for funding's sake? I was here not too long ago when I think it's the Minister of Defense or the, what do you call it again? National Security Advisor was saying something about poor funding. So is everybody talking about funding? You see, everything is not funded per se.
Okay, let's x-ray the role of non-governmental organizations, because they've been touted as a vehicle to further perpetrate insecurity. You know, non-governmental organizations registered in some parts of Nigeria, especially where we're having banditry and kidnappings and the rest, have been blamed for fueling the insecurity in those areas. But we still see a lot more being registered. What can we do differently?
Well, you know, in Nigeria, things take a different shape. When you go to other places, you see how these NGOs they work, and they don't go there to remain in perpetuity, unlike what we have in our own case, where, for instance, the activities of NGOs in Maiduguri and that axis, you see it turning to a way of life. We have commercialized this security that everybody is feeding up from it. The security agencies, even the media, sorry to say, and what do you call it, the NGOs. So because when the insecurity ends, everybody will go home and there's no money to go around again, and you become idle. So nobody wants to be idle. Everybody wants things to be going on. Look, we've talked about how we are to regulate the activities of NGOs in the country, but I don't. It seems that conversation just fizzled away at some point. So it's good that we are discussing it now. That the role of NGOs are not necessarily to be complicit in most of these things, but to complement existing efforts in trying to find a solution to the problem at hand. So what we're having in Benue now, the only NGOs I feel for, as far as what is going on in Benue, are Christian, faith-based, NGOs that are on the ground, that are being hit, and nobody is listening to them. Okay. What is the Christian Association of Nigeria doing? Just like the guest in the studio mentioned that this is taking a religious connotation. So what is the Christian Association of Nigeria doing? It is not to come out and defend the son of the president at some point, but to come out and speak of the amount of people in this country every day.
Okay, Dr. Nonso, let me stay with you on this. We've talked about the problems. Okay, let's try to profess solutions. If you rely on history, the history of conflict management, or in areas that conflict has been managed, talk about Iraq, talk about Afghanistan, talk about Vietnam, if you know all of those history. Now, do you think that the war against insecurity is something that can be won with Tucano jets, arms, ammunition, and all of that? Because it seems it's not working for us. What other track do you think that we can use, to fight insecurity in Nigeria? Briefly.
Well, the first thing is for the government to own up to its failure. Yes, and give itself, is in this part of the world that we don't hold our leadership to account. If we hold our leadership to account, by now, either the governor of Benue State must have, been thrown out, or must have resigned, or the IG or something. Okay. It's not when it has gotten so bad that the president will say, okay, let me keep all my schedule for the day and let me go to bed, as if you are doing us a favor. No, you should be on the ground.
Okay, Dr. Nonso, I like the point where you have brought us to. If you were the governor of Benue State, what would you have done differently?
If I was the governor of Benue State, well, first and foremost, it is, yes, I know he must have had some level of consultations, but he should be able to speak truth to power. Where is the problem coming from? Face it head on. If he cannot get state actors to come in and support him, I don't like this his comment the other day of what's it called? Not supporting self-defense or retaliation or something like that. No, it is only a tree that we know that is going to be cut down and stand there. But other people, as a human, you are supposed to encourage people. You are supposed to create, organic solutions where people will be made responsible for, securing themselves first, since the government is not coming at hand. And secondly, state government should insist on the creation of state police. I don't know how many times we'll keep saying.
Interestingly, you pointed out.
Yes.
Sorry,
I don't know how many times we keep saying. We don't have to wait for the IG to come and go for on-the-spot assessment before he will redeploy one or two or AIGs or DIGs, and that is not the solution.
Okay, so essentially, you believe that the governor has not done enough.
He has not done enough.
Okay, I keep going back to specifics. What will you have done differently?
That is what I'm saying. Firstly, it is to recruit, community.
State internal security.
Vigilantes, whatever you want to call them. Yes, we have something like this in Anambra. That is why Anambra we can at least sleep at night. You don't have to wait for things to get too bad. Then you keep begging for the government. If the government is not coming, you do something for yourself.
All right.
And damn the consequences.
Thank you so much.
You're there to provide security of life and property.
Thank you,
Those
Doctor.
lives come first.
Thank you for that, your submission. Now, let's bring it back to the studio. Barrister Darlington, interestingly, the issue of state policing is here again on the table. He just made mention of that. Dr. Ekesobi made mention of that. But just yesterday, the IGP of police said no to that. He disagreed with the speaker, saying that we don't need any state policing in Nigeria, that the only recognized police force that we have is the national one. And he has his reason for saying that. Now, if Nigerians have come up to say that we need state policing to be the only thing that helps to curb the issue of insecurity in Nigeria, then what then is it that is making the IGP to say that we are not going to have state policing? Even the federal government last week or last 2 weeks, made Nigerians understand that each governor is expected to have 2,000, 3,000, depending on their financial capacity, of forest guards, and push them into our forests to help make sure that our forest actually is being manned so that persons will not go there to inhabit. Help us please walk around this. The only solution that Nigerians have to end the issue of insecurity is being opposed by the IGP.
Who is an IG if the federal government wants to do something? He's talking to himself because he wants more power to himself. Don't you see how they feel so big and so powerful? If a governor of a state need to get clearance from him in Abuja before they can even tell the CP to do something in the state, that is demonstration of power. It gives them joy. So it's not about the country or about the state or government. It's about themselves. The more power they have, the more it is for them. They benefit more. Imagine one IGP controlling 36 states, that all of them bring a request to him and all that, everything revolves around him. Is that not power? So they wouldn't want it to go to the states. The same thing with the federal government that have been paying lip service to this state police. Look at how long we have been saying it. Are you telling me that if this federal government meant it, wouldn't they have done it? They said they did this national anthem.
But
that they changed overnight.
Darlington, Egbe Chokun argued that the Nigerian police force is constitutionally established. Adding that, this particular subject will also amend the section 214 of our 1999 constitution. How constitutional is it for us to have Nigerian police, separate police apart from what the constitution actually permits?
Have we not brought in some institutions due to constitutional amendment in this country? What is there? All they needed is the federal government to insist that this thing is the right way to go. They will tell the National Assembly, 24 hours, the constitution will be amended. I told you how they changed the national anthem here. How long did it take? Please, how long did it take to change that national anthem? The They can do the same thing. All this thing that we are battling and talking from right, left, and center is because they don't want to do it.
Do you think that we are politically ready to have state policing?
Sorry?
Do you think Nigeria is politically ready to have state policing in Nigeria? Recall what happened in Ebonyi State when the Ibubiago outfit was, introduced. Also in Imo State. Later we learned that the persons who happened to be at the helm of affairs were using those persons to their own personal interest. Do you think politically we are ready to have state policing?
Are you serious? The federal police we have today, the federal government is not using them, Abi? Are you telling me now that you want to throw away the baby and the bathwater? Mention any institution that doesn't have one comma somewhere. Is that why you say that that institution should not exist? You begin to work on it until you now bring out the best out of that institution. You cannot say because somebody is going to use the person that will use it, will the person remain there forever? Don't they have tenure? The police will remain there no matter who's come and goes. So if you use them during your own time, when your turn is expired, you will leave office.
Okay. All right.
That's it. So we cannot say these other places that have been. Can't you see how security have been taken care of, especially in America?
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Barrister Darlington. Now let's go back to Benin briefly and take the thought of Dr. Bright Onovio Kuku. Bright, you're still there with us, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, beautiful. Right, the president will be visiting Benue State today. He should be on his way now. Now, the people of Benue State have rolled out, to come welcome the president. The chief of the army staff has been there for like 1 week or so. The chief of defense staff also, and the IGP visited. So, what do you expect after all of these visits? Briefly, what do you expect?
Well, let me first of all say that let's use the term some people of Benue State, because those who are mourning, I don't think they are ready to welcome the president in the way he came, not after so many talk before he chose to go to that place. Well, they are just going for jamboree and so many other things as far as I'm concerned. Yes, some persons are excited to see the president, but that shouldn't be the case, because I saw a video yesterday, people cutting grass, whether it was 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., cleaning the street and doing so many things. Chief of army staff has been there doing what? What's the result? Have they been able to get those people who attacked or killed these persons or who committed those crimes? These are not what we want. Is he going to go there now and start making speech, giving them hope without action or whatever? So we really don't need this kind of
you don't think the president's visit will make any difference at all?
What difference is he going to what difference is he going to make? You understand? Must he be in Benue to take the needed action that he needs to take? Okay, he's just going there to go and sympathize. After the sympathy, what's next? They need to take action. Nigeria wants results. It's because this Benue case now has come to the media, getting attention. What about some of those cases that are happening that we don't even get to know? And even for this particular Benue case, it was somebody that went there and brought the video for the world to see. What about those ones that are not even on camera? We are facing a serious challenge, and the president and his team, they are aware of what Nigerians are saying. Let us have results. We are counting 100 persons were killed. These are 100 generations, probably bread winners. We don't just need to count them as numbers. They are human beings. They have plans, just like the way the president and his family have plans and so many other things. The convoy that the president goes with when he's going from one place to another is enough to take care of a particular community. So why don't they complain that there is not enough funding to provide security for the president? But when it comes to Nigerians, no money, no this, no that, and all sort of complaint.
Right.
We don't need all this particular thing. Like I always say, for this president, so much is expected of him, because ever before he became president, he has been talking about the issues of Nigeria. Now is on that seat. We are focusing on the seat, not even the person whosoever is on the street should do what Nigerians want. We don't want to hear stories or rhetorics. We need action. We need results. That is just it. So much killings in Benue. If you add the number of people that have been killed in Benue from January to date, on record and off record, it should be more than 500 or 1,000. And these are individuals.
We're talking people in their thousands. We're talking 5,000 plus. Thank you very much, Dr. Brighton Iwakuko. One more question for Dr. Chukwunonso Ekesiobi. Now, still staying with Benue, Dr. Chukwunonso, I do believe you heard the president's speech, when the president spoke about his intention to visit Benue, and also the fact that the people are ready to welcome the president, and the fact that the president said he will be speaking to stakeholders, and then he mentioned there would be a town hall, and he mentioned the letter mentions traditional rulers, the people. But do you perceive that the president might be speaking to the attackers themselves? Would they be at that meeting? Or is it possible that the attackers are the people? Because the president is the commander-in-chief. So he should be privy to some information that you and I, ordinary Nigerians, may not be privy to. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are that the president receives security briefings, security reports, and not just about Benue, but just about every inch of Nigeria. So this is not a time for consultation, if you ask me. It's not a time for fanfare, where you declare a public holiday, you roll out the drums, everybody, red carpet, say we are welcoming the president. No, the president is supposed to come in quietly, look, assess the level of damage, and read the riot act. That look, IG of police, chief of army staff, chief of defense staff, everybody involved, that this kind of thing should not happen again, period. It's not a matter of inviting stakeholders, telling them stories. No, even if there's an invitation or a consultation, it should be to mull with them, to give them assurance that the government will not let this thing to happen again, or let it repeat itself again. It's not something we come and treat in the usual Nigerian manner. Even from the language I mentioned earlier, saying that he will just have to keep all his engagements aside and come and visit. No, it's something that should happen immediately. If he did not go, the vice, Shetima, should go, instead of discussing whether they endorse somebody in Northeast or Northwest or whatever is their concern, that as the time is showing. So they should spare us all these rhetorics and playing to the gallery. They should get things done.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ekesiobi. Now let's move on to another conversation. PDP faces setback as effort to sideline Wike loyalists failed. NEC meeting in doubt. Let's discuss this when we come back. Join us again.
Is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being of an individual. It's the fundamental right of everyone to enjoy the highest attainable standard of health, without distinction of race, religion, or political belief. On VOP TV, we bring you Health Check, a show that x-rays different health issues and provides solutions with the help of experts in the medical field. Join us every Saturday, 2 p.m. on Health Check. Health Check on VOP TV. Your health, our priority.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOPTV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOPTV, Voice of the People Television.
Well, the PDP's plan to sideline loyalists of FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, including National Secretary Senator Samuel Anyanwu, ahead of its June 30 NEC meeting has failed. INEC rejected the party's notification letter for the meeting due to the absence of Anyanwu's signature, as required by both electoral guidelines and the PDP constitution. The move, led by acting chairman Ambassador Damagum, has cast doubt on the legitimacy of the planned NEC meeting and exposed deepening internal division within the PDP. We still have with us, Dr. Brighton Kuko, who is a medical doctor, political affairs commentator. We also have Dr. Chukunonso Ekesiobi, who joins us from Oka. Right here in the studio, we have Lawale Kundayo, who is, of course, a political commentator. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Now, looking at the PDP and the crisis within the PDP, is it possible to dissociate Wike's influence, Wike's doings, let me use the word local parlance, Wike's doings, especially as it concerns INEC, to this current rejection? Is it possible to dissociate both? Does it seem like INEC is already being influenced ahead of 2027?
I think INEC, there's a game here. There's a game to shield INEC. Now, we know that the moment the secretary doesn't sign, it's difficult to accept the letter because the secretary has to sign. But Wike being that force inside to blow the PDP from inside is very formidable and is working. It's seriously working, coupled with the fact that the choice of candidate from that area, from PDP, is also a force that is steering the party into two. So with that, it gives Wike the opportunity to do the bidding of the APC by making sure that that place is properly turned. And that is what we are seeing. They want PDP to become something like Labour Party before Obi came in. That is what they want it to look like, something that will
fragmented.
Yes, and almost irrelevant. To just exist in name that people will not reckon with. Because PDP is a formidable opposition against the ruling party. It's a formidable opposition.
How formidable is PDP even up until today when they can't even put their house in order and they have a single man more like control the affairs of that particular political party? He is not even the national chairman. He does not hold any particular position in PDP, but yet he was still able to hold them in the sensitive organ. Now, how formidable is PDP?
See, that is why, you see, there was something that I said earlier, which I'm okay. A politician is made of two things. Each politician is made of two aspects. We have the political aspect and then we have the administrative aspect. The political aspect means that you know how to, design and
maneuver.
It may not even be anywhere in the government. It may just be somewhere. People may see you as, but they come to you for the mathematics. How do we do this? And you are the one to do the planning. You are the one to do all this. So you are good when it comes to that aspect. But you may not be good when it comes to administration. That's why I see some people, they may not be in any political office, But when they want to take certain decisions, they will visit them. You see them visiting them, you wonder why they visit them. Because they know that they have that mathematical brain to recalculate. Remember this guy in Ibadan, Adefarasin, who did not even go to school, but you know how he controlled that.
Right, so let me the president has largely been referred to as a strategist.
Mm-hmm.
Do you, if I understand your analogy right now, does it gives me the impression that the president is a manipulator? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I don't want to use the word manipulation. I prefer to use the word mathematics.
No, how does that play into
the PDP issue?
Yes.
That's, you see, you'll be wondering. Look at what is Wike is a very strong person in PDP, very, very strong.
Okay.
He's one of the top people there. And then
so the president is doing mathematics with Wike.
Yes, now
mathematics.
Yes, it's one of his calculations. Okay. In fact, it's one of the formula he's using. Wike is a formula now. It's a tool.
Okay, Mr. Lawal, in all of this, do you see any red flag or another red flag? I ask this because now the NEC meeting that is going to fail, was being promoted by Damagum, the national chairman of PDP, who is Wike's man Friday, and in the same camp with Wike Sam Anyanwu. Now he submits a memo to INEC requesting for INEC to come and observe the NEC meeting, and Sam Anyanwu doesn't sign it. So does it look like he knew it was going to fail?
Yes.
And he went ahead. So in all of this, what is the place of, you think Wike is behind the failure? So, because when they say that, look, they wanted to sideline Wike's loyalists. Who are Wike's loyalists? Sam Anyanwu is one of them. Damagum is one of them, and Wike himself. They all belong to the same camp. So who is trying to sideline who in all of this?
See, that's why you say that a politician will say, I don't have permanent enemy or friend. I only have permanent interest. So if they want to send a mole into you, the mole, you must accept that mole. If you don't accept the mole, how will the mole work? How will you trust the mole to give the mole information? How will the mole be able to, disorganize at the right time?
Does it look like Wike and Damagum have fallen apart? If Damagum is the one spearheading all of this, so he sidelines Wike and Sam Anyanwu, goes to INEC, and the thing fails. Does it look? Mind you, there was something that he did in Rivers State, in the heat of that crisis. He now called on INEC to come conduct, fresh elections for the 27 members that had left the PDP. If you put all of these things together, does it look like Wike and Damagum are beginning to have problems?
I don't think so.
Being that Damagum is from the north, and this issue of the ticket must come back to the south, are we able to put any of these things together?
I don't think so. You see, if you send a mole or a spy into an organization, the spy must be...
Sorry, who is the mole here? Wike or Damagum?
Both of them now.
Okay.
They can be meeting somewhere and coming and it looks like they are fighting. It looks like they are fighting, but they are not fighting. It's part of the strategy. It's like for them to gain trust. By the time they gain trust, you think they are working, and at the time, you just see them collapsing the whole thing. That's why chairman knows that the secretary must sign for it to be accepted, and is presenting a letter without the secretary signing. I mean, is it inexperienced? Is he doing it for the first time? For him to be chairman, you want to tell me that he doesn't know the rules and regulations, and you are presenting that like the chairman wants to present a letter representing your organization, and he doesn't use the letter heading. Will they not be looking at him as it's like this man doesn't know? It could be a strategy to make sure that what is going on is that 2027 is around the corner. Stall them. That's all now. You create, stall. They don't settle. Create stall opportunity. Just keep creating it every now and then. At a junction, there will be something to bring them back. If you move 2 steps forward, you drop 3 steps back.
All right.
So that is what is going on. Okay. Because you can't tell me the chairman doesn't know that the secretary will sign.
Okay. All right, then. Let's go over to Oka now, where we have Dr. Ekesiobi. Dr. Ekesiobi, good morning once again. Thanks for rejoining the conversation. Are you with us? Just to establish communication. Great. I do believe you've been following the conversation. Does it seem like PDP is never going to rise again? Because that's what some Nigerians are thinking. If you go by what is playing out.
Well, PDP is a classic example of how not to run a political party, because maybe they got carried away from the inception of the Obasanjo administration taking over and the return of democracy, and they got so drunk in power that at some point they said that they were going to rule for 60 years. So they were not they were very short-sighted in their plans, and now now that they lost of the election 2015, it's been very difficult for them to evolve as a political party, and it's what is playing out at the moment, because I see no reason why as a former ruling party they find it difficult to get their acts together, even if not for the sake of Nigerians, at least for their own sake, to rescue or to return power back to its base. Rather, you are seeing the hemorrhage, political hemorrhage they have been passing through, people bleeding out, people reporting, shifting from the PDP to whichever party, especially the ruling party of today. So you see that it's, like I said, it's an example of why political institutions, democratic institutions, have failed to thrive in this part of the world, because our democratic system fails to include or incorporate a very, very viable opposition, which is what is supposed to keep the government of the day on their toes. Rather, the opposition will rather want to see itself either moving to the government of the day or indirectly supporting the government of the day. So you see a party like PDP having this kind of, I want to call them non-issues, basic issues that they are supposed to iron out. Then you have one or two persons holding the party to the jugular, by the jugular, just trying to mess the political space up ahead of 2027.
Let me permit me to bottom at this point. Let me pick up from a statement you made. You said it's been difficult for them to evolve. Is it difficult for them to evolve, or that certain interests, certain individuals have made it impossible for the PDP to rise again? And what does this portend for democracy in Nigeria if there is no viable opposition to a ruling party?
So when we say democracy, is basically a leadership system based on number. It's supposed to be a government that is driven by the majority consensus. So when you look at internal democracy, the way we have it in the Nigerian political space, you see that we make a mess of internal democracy in our political parties, which are supposed to be the vehicle for these politicians to be able to drive their interests, their aspirations, what they want to do for the people into the democratic space. So as it is now, it's very painful that it is the opposite that we find in internal democratic practices. For instance, how can one or two persons be holding a full political party to ransom?
No, Doctor, when you say how can one or two persons hold a political party to ransom, let me ask you this, because, if we take this back to when it began in 2023, after the Imo State election, that was when, Anyango, yes, when Anyango left his position to go vie for the gubernatorial seat, and he lost. And that particular time was when the Southeastern caucus of PDP decided to bring Udokoye to be the national secretary. Now, this particular case went to the Supreme Court, and they gave their verdict, reinstating Anyango to be the national secretary of PDP. Why is it that, it gets to a point, it's more like the court is cherry-picking on the political party issues to delve into? The same court actually made Nigerians understand that when they have personal issues with a party, they should go settle it.
They go and settle
PDP at this point in time have come up to say that Anyango is no longer a national secretary. We have Udokoye to be the national secretary. Then what is so difficult now, for this party or for the powers that be or for even the court itself that restricted anyone now to come up to say, we are taking out our hands from party issues. Let political parties handle their internal crisis. Because we believe that that's the only way for this whole thing to be solved. Is it now still few individuals holding PDP to ransom, or are we seeing the power that be is also deciding what happens there?
Thank you for providing a historical context to what we are witnessing. And it brings in another important variable, though disappointing, the role of our judiciary, which is supposed to be an independent arm of government. But we see it as we are seeing all these other arms of government as appendages of the executive. Because if you go to the legislature, you see, I would be surprised if we wake up one day and we see this current House of Assembly, the Senate and the Reps, decide to say that the government of the day can go for a third term, and they rewrite the rule, and we may end up witnessing something like that. They go for it. So it is shameful that, like I said, because they have been emboldened by the same judiciary, which is supposed to help to make sense of everything. It is because they have been emboldened, and you see, that's why sometimes when people say that we should separate certain institutions should be autonomous, you don't blame them. You see a serving minister while he was governor building accommodations, residence for judges and the rest of them, and he's repeating the same thing in Abuja. And you see it now, he wants to build a new INEC headquarters. What is wrong with the existing headquarters that they've not told us about? And the next thing, you know, these are overtures that when you look at it politically, you'll be asking questions. So when I say that it is just 2 or 3 persons that is holding the PDP to ransom, it's very clear. But the question is why, one, and how have they been able to do so? And that instead of having a PDP stand up for itself as a major, as a quote unquote major opposition party, the PDP is now among those being dragged around for alignment, realignment, coalition, and coalition. So there's a problem. There's a problem in the PDP, and that the problem in the PDP is that they know the root of the problem, but it's as if those people are above the law, or they cannot be penalized, or they cannot be reined in. That is why they keep running around.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ekesobi. Now let's go to Benin and bring in Dr. Bright Onojokuku once again. Dr. Bright, thanks for joining us. Now, you follow the conversation. We are talking about the problem within the PDP. Does it look like there's a crack in the wall between the national chairman, Elia Damagum, and Wike in all that has happened with regard to conducting the NEC meeting, which INEC has said, look, you have not done proper filing, you have not done proper documentation. What do you understand that is going on between the two of them and in the PDP as a whole?
If you say there is a crack in the PDP, that is an understatement.
No,
it's more than a crack.
Okay,
it's more than a crack. Yeah, you know, it's more than a crack. PDP is collapsing very, very fast.
I'm sorry to butt in, Dr. Bright. You understand that the national chairman seems to be, a lot of people believe that he is Wike's right-hand man, that they have been working hand in gloves, you know. They are in cahoots, you know, with each other, doing whatever they are doing within the PDP, because as a matter of fact, Wike was the one that we understand that installed him, you know, in office. And all this while, they've been together. But recent events show that, look, there might just be some form of disagreement between the two of them. So that's why I'm asking, does it look like there's a crack between the two of them, Wike and the national chairman? I'm not talking, there's a crack in the PDP, everybody understands that. I'm talking about the national chairman and Wike himself. And how does that affect the whole issues around the PDP?
Like I said, like I was saying earlier, and to still add to it, when it appears apparently that these two people are having crisis, is to give people something to discuss. It is part of their own way to finally put the party to rest. because you say they are having issues. So what needs to be done would not be done under flimsy excuses. Before now, considering the things that have played in the recent past, we asked, is Wike still part of PDP? Which political party is Wike on? So if you have a national chairman having alliance or having crisis with somebody whose status we cannot even say in a political party, he tells you that there is more to what meets the ordinary eyes. Some of these crises are just issues they bring forward to kind of stall a whole lot of things. Now they need to have a meeting, they need to do so many other things, but because of this crisis, they will not do.
All right,
At the end of the day, they will achieve what they want. So for me, it's just giving people what to discuss or to distract them as it is.
Oh yes, of course, and we will discuss until we find headway. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Onyevio Kuko. Before we wrap this up, let me go back to Dr. Ekesiobi. Dr. Ekesiobi, I hope you're still with us. Now, quick question. Dr. Ekesiobi, are you there?
Yes.
Oh, great. Quick question. Now, you are resident in Anambra and elections are coming up. Do you foresee a situation whereby these cracks within the PDP will affect the Anambra elections for the PDP?
As far as we in Anambra are concerned, there is no party like PDP existing in this state, honestly. And it has been so for a very long time. So I'll be shocked if they come a distant third in the forthcoming election. Yes, who speaks about the PDP here today? It's either you are talking about the ruling party here, which is the All Progressive Grand Alliance, or the Labour Party itself, or the APC, before you even remember that there's a party called PDP here. So PDP, as far as I want to say, not just Anambra, but the large parts of the Southeast, in large parts of Southeast, the PDP is as good as Ikoma.
All right then. Well, thank you very much. Now let's move on to another conversation. Court rejects arrest request for suspended Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Join us again.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We break in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Thank you so much for staying with us. It's still VOP this morning. The Federal High Court in Abuja has declined the federal government's request to issue a bench warrant for the arrest of suspended Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. FGO accused her of skipping arraignment for a fresh 6-count cybercrime-related charges over alleged defamatory remarks made during a live TV interview. Justice Mohammed Umar ruled against the arrest request, noting that there was no proof that Akpoti-Uduaghan has been properly served with a charge or court notice. The court instead ordered substitute service through her lawyer and adjourned the case to June 30. The lawmaker also faces a separate 3-count defamation charge in another Abuja court set for June 19. Key figures listed as witnesses in the cases include Senate President Godswill Akpabio and ex-Kogi Governor Yahaya Bello. We still have with us in the studio Lawale Kundayo, an educationist, a farmer, and a political analyst, and also from Benin, we also have Dr. Bright Onovekyoko, and in Anambra State, we still have Dr. Chukunonso Ekesobi, who happens to be a lecturer in Chukwemeka Odumegu Ojukwu in Anambra State, still standing in for today's this particular conversation. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being here. Now, let me start off with you, Dr. Bright Onovekyoko, because I believe we've talked about. All right, I was just told that network yanked him off. I believe it to be restored. Now, Dr. Chukunonso Ekesobi, first it was a court, asking that the Senate of the President should pay a certain fine, to Natasha Botinodora after they also erase or cancel or delete a particular changes brought against her in court, especially that has to do with the suspension and faulting what the court says. Now we're getting another federal high court in Abuja declining the federal government's request of bench warrant or for her to be arrested, saying that she skipped arraignment for the first 6 count cyber-related charges that they have against her. Well, what do you really have to say about this particular story, this Natasha's gate? Is it that the judiciary is kind of trying to live up to Nigeria's expectation? Because a whole lot of Nigerians are interested in this particular case, especially when a woman of such nature is speaking about a whole lot of things happening in the house. We have the issue of, sexual harassment. We have the issue of intimidation. We have the assassination plot and a whole lot, running around this particular case. Let's get your opinion on this.
It's good that the court is trying to redeem itself, because as far as majority of Nigerians are concerned in this case, it looks as if one side is the aggressor or the oppressor and the other one is being victimized. Whichever one is true, it will be left for the courts to decide. But it is good that the courts are trying to bring some level of sanity in this conversation. Maybe because the person concerned, that's Senator Natasha, is maybe amongst the elite. So it's not a case of a dominant party and a smaller party. So maybe they just have to give both sides the due respect or recognition, or maybe because, like you have said, is a woman, or maybe the gender issues, or maybe because Natasha herself has made the right noises in the right places, especially in the international community. So it makes it look as if, yes, all eyes are now on not just her as a person, but her situation. So they will be very foolish, as it were, if they just rein in whatever it is they wanted to do on her and everything. So it's good that the court is trying to bring some level of relative calm to what is going on. And the federal government and the likes of Yahaya Bello and the Senate President, I think all these men should just try and take a back seat.
I'm happy you made mention of that, because that was the next question I wanted to ask you. How do you feel, as a Nigerian, noticing the fact that a particular man whom we know, even the school refund or return back the money he took from the coffers of the people of Benue State, of Kogi State, to fund the children's school fees, now is being called upon as a witness in the court. This is a particular man that we don't even know how far the issue he has with Nigeria, especially embezzlement of public fund, has gone with the EFCC, coming into court now to stand in as a witness in another person's case. How does that make you feel as a leading Nigerian?
Bello is just trying to mess himself up in this whole thing, because we know what happened even during the election, how he tried to frustrate her candidacy and her campaign and all the rest, even to the point of I think denying an access road leading to that senatorial zone and stuff like that. So we know you can easily deduce the position of Yahaya Bello in this case. And in the case of the Senate President, we have seen other persons come up and accuse him of high-handedness, of not giving fair hearing to other dissenting voices and stuff like that. I think the former governor of Bayelsa said so recently. The other guy from Abia State, what was that his name? Former minority leader. So all these senators have come out to also accuse the Senate president of what Senator Natasha has been said during her own case. So why is her own now being blown out of proportion and all the noise it is generating? So if they really wanted to just they should just look for maybe an out-of-court settlement or some sort of amicable resolution behind the scenes and allow this thing go down. Because the more it's allowed to continue, the more it becomes very messy and does not do the image of this gentleman. Though some people will argue about that. It doesn't do their image any good or the image of the National Assembly any good. We are talking about a National Assembly that is very underrepresented as far as the women population is concerned among the legislative populace. But the few that have found their way into the Senate and the House of Reps are still living like endangered species. So I think we should just resolve this thing and get ahead with our legislative business.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chukwunoseke, before your submission. Now, Mr. Lawale Kundayo, do you think that this particular case we're going to, get to end of it anytime soon? That's on one side. And then also, do you think that the trial process will see any free, fair, part of it coming up? Of course, a particular group in Nigeria, the collective, I guess that's a name, a civic group called Action Collective have come up to ask the judiciary to make sure they maintain, free fairness during the trial of this case.
Since the hand of politicians is already in the case, I don't think there will be free and fair trial in this case. I don't see it because I've seen the hands of politicians here. That is what is going on. Now, they are turning the table against her. That is what I see. The government is turning the table against her. She is a complainant. Now, they are turning it against her to become the defendant. Now, that means that there's the hands of politicians in this thing. So, instead of the government trying to find this, what really happened in that case that she has come to complain about. Now, they are turning it against her. She's not the one to be the one defending. Whereas, what about her case that she brought up? Now, the Senate president, who's supposed to have stepped down for proper investigation to have been done, is still there. And is now coming in to act as a witness to a case in which, as the police concluded investigation, because when somebody come and say there is an assassination attempt towards her, the first thing that needs to be done is for police to do investigation. They will call her, they will ask her, then they will do their investigation before they will now say they want to charge whatever. In fact, they're supposed to have finished her own side before they start their Akpabio, whatever side, because she is the complainant. Have you resolved this? You have not. You are jumping the whole thing.
Mr. Kundayo, I think why Yaya Bello is coming as a witness is because I think he was mentioned by Natasha, in the.
What I'm saying, if somebody mentioned you, that somebody mentioned me, that you are trying to kill me. The first thing is for police to investigate your statement. They have to investigate to be sure that what you said, whether it is true or not. That's the first thing. The police will investigate. They will call you and ask you to present evidences, and then they will question the other person. They will ask the other person to come in. They invite the other person. They will question the other person. Have they done all that?
We don't know all of this. Maybe the police have done. Maybe they have not done. But let me ask you. Natasha was suspended on the 6th of March, and that makes it 3 months. She's into her 4th month now of suspension. We had a certain Senator Abdul Ningi who was suspended. He went home quietly to Bauchi State and stayed, quietly. But since Natasha was suspended, she's been acting, she's been upbeat, taking her case even to the international arena. Now, do you think that she is... And Abdul Ningi didn't have to serve out the 6-month suspension. He was recalled. Now, do you think that Natasha acting in this recalcitrant manner, that she is going to be called back, or do you think that she will serve out the 6-month term?
I think she will serve it because she's strong-headed and is good. Because that's what we need in democracy. Why do you have so many reps, representing different areas? all of them model together, so that each one can speak for his own area. She is fighting for her own area. That is what is happening. But Ninji went quietly to sit down and forget about the whole thing. When they saw that he has kept quiet, they brought him back. Okay. And he's quiet ever since. But this lady is not quiet.
You think that Natasha, in serving the interest of her people, shouldn't have kept quiet? You like what she's doing?
Yes,
right?
it's okay. That's good.
And now her people are suffering.
No, they are not suffering.
They are not represented.
They are represented. This is a true representation. Okay. What she's doing is true representation. It's not for you to sit down in the house and let everything go by. Let me give you a good one. The people for Benue, the people who represent Benue, there are some people who represent that area in which the killings is happening. So what have they said so far? Do you see them speaking? They just sat down quietly as if, is that what they're supposed to do? They're supposed to have been tearing that house apart by now, based on the fact that the people they represent are dying. Nobody is hearing about their voice. They are even, okay, the president wants to visit. They are clearing the state as if it's coming on a ceremonial visit. Is it coming on a ceremonial visit? It's coming on because of a crisis. And you are clearing the whole place to make it look neat as if there's no problem. Is that what they are trying to do? Declining holiday, making sure everything is under. Well, why are you doing that?
How far do you understand the powers that Natasha is confronting? Now the federal government has stepped into this matter. Mm-hmm. How far do you think she can pursue this case?
See, even if she pursue it to any side, now she has shown the whole world that she is a true representative of our people. The others are not. Because when you are in the house and you are quiet, so how do you represent? Are you sure the person you are representing is very happy, is doing fantastic, no problem? That's why you are quiet. Or there are issues that you need to bring into the house and you are quiet. So are you representing? So if you are representing somebody, you need to be quiet. Are you not supposed to be speaking so that the person, what the person is going through, you be the voice of that person so that the person's voice can be heard.
Mr. Kundayo,
she is the true representative
are running out of time.
Of the people.
The federal government, does it look like the federal government is after her?
That is what is happening. And that's why I said,
how do you think the whole thing will end?
I think what is happening is that they are trying to find a way to shock her so that she can come to their own terms and everything will die, just like an NG. NG eventually everything died down. But what he started, he couldn't finish it. He started something and he was suspended for that. The question is, what he started, is it justified or not? Is it the right thing or not? And he kept quiet and he discussed it again. But this woman, she started something and she's fighting it, and big hands are fighting her, and she still continue to fight. What more do you think a good representative will do that she's not doing? Have you seen what is happening in America? Okay. Have you seen what is happening in Britain?
Kundayo, we are out of time. We are out of time. Can we have your concluding thoughts on any or all of the topics that we talked about? Like in 1 minute, if you can.
PDP will rise again. I know that. The only thing that is happening is because of that 2027. After 2027, these hands will go down. Because by the moment 2027 is over, or before immediately 2027 is around the corner, Wike will make a decision. Okay. He will make a decision. Now, many of these moves will start showing their true colors, and they will it's either they remain or they disappear.
Okay,
all right then. PDP will get itself back after 2027. All right. And second, Natasha should continue.
All right, PDP will rise again in 2020 before 2027, according to Mr. Lawal Ekundayo. All right then, Dr. Ekesobi, can we get your concluding thoughts, like in 1 minute, if you can?
Well, my concluding thoughts are: one, the president should go to Benue and give everybody the last warning that this nonsense, this unnecessary loss of life should end. Secondly, the PDP and other opposition parties should better wake up ahead of 2027, or they should just give way for others to come in. Then lastly, the leadership of the National Assembly and their agents or their allies in Kogi should just allow this Natasha issue to rest, and they resolve it, and she comes into the National Assembly and concludes her tenure.
All right then, thank you very much. Now this is where we end VOP this morning. That is the Star Morning Show of Voice of the People Television. In the course of the program, we had Barrister Darlington Agomo, who is a lawyer and VOP in-house analyst. We are also joined by Dr. Bright Onovio Kuku, a medical doctor as well as a political affairs analyst. We had Dr. Nonso Ekesubi, who is a lecturer at the Chukwuemeka Odumegwu Ojukwu University in Anambra State. And we still have here with us Mr. Lawal Ekundaya, who is an educationist as well as political affairs analyst. Gentlemen, thanks for coming to VOP this morning. We appreciate your presence. Now, on behalf of the backroom staff and my colleagues here, Moses Humphrey and Fina Okechukwu, I am Chukwuma Okoro. But do stay back with us because at 10 o'clock on top of the hour, Moses and I will come back for newspaper review. Join us again then. Bye for now.